Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Ascension Minutes, devoted to sharing with you things that will help you move through your own personal awakening. And this is going to include all kinds of tips and tricks and knowledge and wisdom and, just practical tools and understandings that will help you, one, understand what's going on, and two, to move through it with a greater degree of grace than I did. So that's the deal. Just any of you who haven't seen me before, I am a highly gifted intuitive, which really has been said so often it doesn't really mean a whole lot. I have a strong connection with Divine Source and with the angels. They are my forever present partners. I am a starseed with my base planet, my planet of origin being Sirius, for those of you that might mean anything to. For those of you that it doesn't, that's cool too. I don't wear this as a badge. Some people just like to know stuff like this. So I'm saying, fine, here it is. And lastly, but certainly not least, I'm also an angelic. And what does angelic mean? Angelic means that there is an angelic presence that is infused into my soul matrix. It's been with me since birth. And the angel that is working with me and part of me, right? Angels don't incarnate. They don't take physical bodies and walk around, but they do sort of coexist with some of us in the physical plane on occasion. And apparently there are a lot of these here now. There are a lot of angelics on the planet here now. Many of you may not even know that you are. And the angel who is associated with me and embedded in my soul is an angel of the awakening, the Great Awakening. So, hello, that's what I'm doing here. And what my mission is to assist you in moving up, to clear all the clutter away from your soul that is hiding your beautiful, glorious, wonderful truth. And trust me, it really is. You are so much more than your ego mind and everything outside you would try and convince you that you are. So we're going to work on that. But my Chrysalis vlogs that I do does some of that. It's more of an awareness kind of thing that dovetails with events that are going on. But this Ascension Minutes is meant to focus in on just one thing in each one of these that may be helpful to you. So what are we doing today? The last one that we did was about electricity and electrical energies and the electrical sauna that we live in. This one is about our transition into living fully in a 5D New Earth timeline and all that entails. Now back, you can go, I will have the link to this video down below that you can look for. But I did a video about us coming home, about that transplantation that happened right after, immediately after, in the next 5 days after the lunar eclipse in January. That happened January 10th. So there are a lot of things, we're still not quite used to things, right? It's like moving into a new house. It has a new energy, there's a new location, there are a lot of different features and things that you have in a new home that you didn't have in the old one. That's why you went to the new home. There are advantages there. There are things that you have to get used to maybe the rooms are arranged in a different way, so you can't flow from place to place to place in the same pattern that you did in the old one. And there's a part of you that there's this kind of you could liken it to maybe a grieving process, but it isn't quite the same thing, because your energies and parts of you were so embedded in that old home. Literally, your energy is embedded into the very fabric and structure of that home's energy, and as it is in you. So you're really strongly attached still to the old place until you fully detach and become adjusted to and attuned to the energies of the new place, and its energies kind of blend with yours. You come together. So that's the place where we are now in our ascension journey, is we have been transplanted. We're in a new home right now, and we're in the process of acclimating to it in totality. Now, those of us who have transitioned here have been in a 5D vibrational state for a long time, at least a year or more. But we have been in that state operating within the 3D soup. Now we are separate from that 3D soup, and we are operating in 5D state, in a 5D new earth, in a 5D timeline. We're not in that soup anymore, but we're still connected to it. When we went through the transition from the old 3D into the new 5D earth and timeline, part of the process, and many reported this, and you can watch the video and you will understand this and probably relate to it, feeling really dragging for days and tired and like somebody pulled your plug. Not being able to think really well, maybe having some aches and pains and things like that. But that was all part of a process of disconnecting. We were forced to, and you may have also had the thing happen, a lot of people mentioned this also, about having these random thoughts just come up out of nowhere from your past, and you're like, where did that come from? And all of those were associated with negative emotional energies, experiences, contacts, attachments, whatever. All of this that happened was what needed for us to let go of, to raise our whole energy up to a point that we could be compatible in the 5D environment, as instead of being 5D inside a 3D soup, we're now 5D inside a 5D soup. And once that happens, all of the things that are not of 5D, that are of a lower vibration, are going to start going, bam! We're going to start, yes, what is that? Because you're going to see it. You're going to sense the contrast more easily and more readily, is what's going to happen. And it is, I'm sure that some of you, while you're listening to me, are saying, oh my God, yes, I have all these things coming up. I don't know what's going on. Well, one of the ways that we're really being shown this, and it's coming home to us, are the things that are buried in the very cells of our body, not just our light bodies out here somewhere, but are literally recorded and buried in the cells of our body. And you got to know that the 3D timeline and all of those energies and everything that was of it, the life that we lived there, is embedded in our cell memory. So, Michael, clear whatever this is that's doing this, and seal this place from it. Okay, thank you. Excuse my nose. Boy, I hate that this happens. I'm so sensitive to entity or low vibrational energies. Oh, sorry. Now, one of the things that I noticed the last couple of weeks, few weeks, that I have other people who have reported the same thing. I literally had 2 clients the other day with the same issue coming up. Now, as usual, I am my own test dummy. So these things happen to me, and I have to dig into it and figure out what the heck is going on here. Why is this? Because you see, because I live in the awareness of our energy fields and the alchemical reactions in the matrix and our ability to manipulate it, when I realize that everything that's going on here in the body has something going on beyond the body, in these outer fields or somewhere else beyond that, that is fostering this physical response that we're getting. So when I have something happen, my first response is to say, okay, what's going on out there? Why is this happening? What's causing this? I don't own it. I'm not going to own it. I do not claim it. But what is it? And so, I get guided to the external triggers for these things and how they're set in our bodies. So the one that has been coming up for a lot of us, as I said, we have separated from 3D. But these tendrils, these entanglements still exist. You say, well, how can that be? Well, think Facebook. How much of Facebook is saturated and loaded with low vibrational energies, or a lot of people who are not coming up into 5D, who are staying in the 3D timeline? Facebook is one of these places where all of this is all just sort of jumbled together. And it's a tool of the dark, what Bill Ballard calls Team Dark. I like Team Dark. Is being used as a tool. I'll get into that in another segment, but not today. So anyway, our families, our friends, our jobs, a lot of those things are embedded in dense 3D energies and structures that we are connected to. Movies, entertainment, you name it, a lot of that is dark, dense, low vibrational, and shares that with us. So if we're watching something, we become connected to it. And when we become connected to it, we're also connected to those energies. So we are right now in a place where we're being shown when we are connecting to those dense, low vibrational energies and things. And one of the ways that that's happening now, and I'm trusting that many of you who are watching this are going to say, oh my God, yes, help me. I've got this. What do I do with it? One of the things that has been happening is that I have been experiencing on and off. It was bad for the first 3 days. It was really intense pain, but it is like a muscle pain or a stitch, not quite a Charlie horse, but you know, when you move, you have something go on in your back and you move what seems to be like the wrong way, you get this ching, in your back. Well, that's what it is. And it's from about the middle of the rib cage. For women, it would be like the bra line. For men, just, you know, at breast level, in the back, down to the hip in the back, waist or hip. That stretch of muscle in there just goes and just says, whoa, you know, what's going on? And it can be in the front too. Most of the time it's in the back. I've only met one person who is having this in the front. All right, so let's get a little history of the energy bodies here. So let me share this with you. Let me go into my screen share. All right, so you can see here now, this is a diagram that I created to represent our physical body and our energy systems and light bodies. So if we're looking at this silhouette as from the back, the pain that is coming up is one that stretches from here down to here, right in the back, right in that area, just boom, right there. And when we have pain or anything happening that happens in the back behind us, that represents things in the past. So this is represented, as soon as we know there's something going on in the back, this represents something in our past. And because it's on the right side, it represents cultural, educational, experiential, tribal information, events, and experiences that we've had during our life. All right, so this is all of that information and experience, you know, our religious beliefs, cultural experience and beliefs, things that come from our country of origin, how we do things, tribal culture and beliefs from family and bigger groups than that. So that's where all of this is located. And when it's located in the body like this is saying that, okay, we have, you know, the cell memory is holding on to this stuff. And all of these things, that the things that are coming up are things that were of 3D, of the 3D world. So there is a lot of and it's different for each of us. What is the thing that's coming up? We have these beliefs and wounds and even behaviors, the way we approach things, the way we think about things. And this is where things like one of the biggest tribal culture 3D isms is separatism. It is segregation. It is, I'm better than you, and you know, my tribe is better than your tribe, and I have more rights than you do, or for some reason I am, you know, divinely better than you are, you know, or you can't come here because you are not mine. You don't belong here. It is exclusivity, exclusivity, all right? This tribal belief that we're excluding somebody and something. And that's not flying here in 5D because we're moving into the Christed consciousness. Christed consciousness and divine love are all inclusive. There is no separating out of anybody or anything to say that you're better or you can't belong or you can't be part of me, all right? We all understand that when it comes to divine love, we are all equal, truly equal. sound like familiar, like maybe what the whole Constitution and Bill of Rights in the United States was built on is, and the Magna Carta addressed that first, I think, was we are all intrinsically equal and need to be treated that way. Now, just as an aside, equal doesn't mean that you get a cookie and so you get a cookie and you get a cookie and you get a cookie. Well, equal means everybody gets treated equally according to the tenets of divine love and their own needs. So you get a cookie, but you can't have a cookie because you're diabetic. So we'll give you something else. All right. Maybe you got a toy or a book. All right. And maybe you get a cupcake because you don't like cookies. All right. So it kind of goes like that. So everybody's treated equally, and whatever is, is assigned has nothing to do with them being not of the same tribe or not like everybody else or being different. We're allowed to be different. Maybe one of those people gets a bowl of rice because that's what they want. That's what they like. That's their treat. Okay. So that's what we are all one. We are all equal. And so we need to separate out from these tribal beliefs. And that's the biggest thing that's going on here with this. I don't know, I'm hoping that you're seeing this arrow on the screen while I've got it here, but yeah, that where this is all being centered and what this is coming from. This is embedded in our cellular memory. And so anytime we engage in any of these 3D tribally sponsored thoughts, belief systems, actions, or behaviors, this is coming up. We're getting that pain. We're getting that stitch in our side. So it's up to us to figure out, okay, what is that? What is it that I'm doing that is triggering that? And how can I detach from it? So one of the things for me and for most of you has to do with things, and I'll stop the share, things coming from our own past history, right? It's embedded in us. We grew up with that, and all of that stuff is part of our past history and our timeline. Now, that was transmitted and translated over into 5D, but it was also cleaned up. So the energies that went along with those things, the negative energies and all, they were all cleaned up. They were all made in earth and not there anymore. But there is a part of us that is still connecting with that stuff. We're not doing it on purpose. We're doing it because that's what we're used to doing. It's the way we've operated. But what spirit and our divine teams and our very body are showing us is that we are still doing these things, and we need to let them go, to detach from that. So how do we do that? For me, I have gotten so attached to, and it isn't just a matter of attached to, okay? There's part of my soul calling is this is embedded in. But I have been, and embedded is a good word, become embedded in the Great Awakening events at ground level as they are unfolding. All right. And there's a part of me that is connecting, resonating with other people, who are awakening and seeing the same things that I'm seeing, and feeling frustrated at the other people who aren't seeing it yet. And so when that happens, and what are, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, all of these things, are where those connections are happening. And so, and even when I'm talking with other people, it doesn't matter. It's just things that are out of resonance with what I have been shown to be true for us are creating in my mind a tribal separation construct, right? And then that's when the pain hits. That's when I start getting the pain. All of a sudden, boom, I'll turn, or I'll move, or shrug my shoulders, or go like this, or, whatever. Even when I'm walking up and around, standing, that's when the pain will come. And then, you could take ibuprofen or something for it. It'll go away for a little while, but it's not going to stop it, because you're being given the message that this has to stop. We are engaging in these tribal activities that are born of 3D. They're 3D stuff. They have to carry this lower vibration and frequency. So we are going to be facing these things until we're ready to let go of them. So the message here is, now you can come and book a session with me to have, let's look at what it is for you, what it is that's triggering this for you, and clear it out and help you be aware of what it is, so that if you do trigger it again, you know where it's coming from, and you can just say, okay, no, we're not doing that, because that's how the ego mind works. We can't remove your thoughts from your mental body, okay? But we can disconnect and dismantle the processes that are feeding them. Sometimes they will reconnect, or you may adopt them from other places again. But we can work on that. But in the meantime, when you are receiving, if you get one of these twinges in your back, or you're feeling that pain, my suggestion to you is to send love. Intend that you are sending love and acceptance to whatever it is that is triggering that response. So if, for instance, instead of seeing different and feeling a sort of frustration with people that I see as just not getting it, there's that you're not getting it. When are you going to get it? But I know better than that, right? I know better, but I'm still human. I engage in these things. I'm not going to walk around pretending to be, like Jesus Christ himself. And even he got angry and frustrated. So that when we get into, we're feeling this tinge, the times when I am feeling that difference in resonance, that I send love to what is causing that, what I'm seeing as different or lacking in some way. To send love to that and acceptance, because we're going to talk a lot about the Christed consciousness in the coming days. And the Christed consciousness, above all, accepts and honors everybody's soul path. Every one of us has a path to be on. And everyone who irritates the living crap out of me is on their own soul path, and they're learning things through what they are doing, as I am learning things through my response to them. So I need to send love to them and acceptance of their path and their need to move through it at their pace, as their soul has contracted and is directing them to do, and their divine team. So that would be my first best recommendation for you if you start going through this, is to start sending love to the things. And you don't even have to know what it is. You can just intend, say, I intend that I am sending love and acceptance to the things that are sponsoring this pain that I'm feeling. And it will be a huge shift. I'm getting a big response right now that I'm feeling coming down. Wow. I love my team. They make doing what I do so joyful all of the time. So that is today's Ascension Minute. A lot more than a minute. Anyway, that's today's Ascension Minute, Ascension Minutes. And we will be back again soon. And please comment, help, let me know whatever you're coming up with, anything that you found useful here would be helpful to me. Please like and please share. Please spread the word so that more and more people can get the assistance of knowing these things as they move up, as they move through their awakening. Thank you. God bless you and love you all.